Our application is our first step towards providing customers in the UAE and beyond with a safe, secure, and easy-to-use platform to engage with crypto, Gemini said in a Twitter post on Thursday, adding the move is another step towards making Gemini a truly global company. Gemini recently established a non-US crypto derivatives platform and in April unveiled plans to pursue growth in Asia. It's one of a number of American digital asset businesses that have been the target of legal action by the Securities and Exchange Commission. The regulatory heat has put the onus on searching for opportunities outside the US. The exchange is also embroiled.
Winklevoss, they are early Bitcoin backers, Bitcoin billionaires, in fact, and to prop up their crypto platform, they have reportedly lent $100 million, according to a nice scoop out of Bloomberg this morning. Now, this comes after they tried to get outside investment, according to sources, and failed to do so. So, as such, the Winklevoss extended a $100 million loan to the company to make sure that they could get afloat. Allegedly, this money is going to go toward funding operations. This isn't related directly to some of the spats that Gemini has had with Genesis, the crypto lender owned by DCG, which, disclosure, is the parent company of CoinDesk. This indeed will go toward keeping the exchange going in this period of crypto downturn and contagion. What do we think here? Is this a good thing, a bad thing? What does this say about Gemini and its prospects? We got two twins here stepping up and writing a big check to keep their company going. Wendy, what do you think?
I wasn't expecting this story today, but I'm glad that they're taking responsibility and helping their company. However, it does make me a little bit weary, and I just want to remind everyone, please do not store any assets on a crypto exchange any way, shape, or form. I don't care who is running the exchange. I don't care if they say they're solvent or not. This does make me a little bit nervous. Again, I'm not saying that Gemini is insolvent, but it does make me a little bit worrisome about the whole situation, because that's a big check, especially in a bear market. Like, I would want to know more, like, what is that money going towards, like, and why do they feel that they needed to inject $100 million into their company from their own personal money?
You know, I got a bigger question, and that's like, do the Winklevoss twins share like a pot of money to stick together? Is that what I'm reading in this headline? Because that's what it looks like. Like, they have the same bank account. I don't know. Kind of a weird situation there. Maybe
They're
that's
twins,
how they
man. Come on.
operate. They're twins. They share clothing, they share stages, they share a company, they share a bank account. So, like, who knows? But let's go to the main point here, and that is that Gemini does have some solvency issues. That's the whole reason that we're in this problem, and they have solvency issues because of Genesis. And Genesis lost all their money from Three Arrows Capital, which Three Arrows Capital went bust because they longed Bitcoin into the moon, and then they missed the moon, and, you know, they're sailing among the stars out in Dubai and Bali and having fun there. But all these people who were locked in their Gemini account and were not able to get their funds because of it, they're the ones really eating the losses from what 3AC did in this account. So I think that's why that $100 million is there. They want to keep Gemini floating. It is an exchange. It does have bills payable that it has to meet. There are people on payroll that still need to be paid. And right now, as much as Bitcoin is going up, you know, we're past 30K today. That doesn't mean that yesterday's horror stories are anywhere buried. Some of these body parts are still sticking out of the grave, and we still have to figure out a way to clean them up and put them to rest finally. And I think that's what Gemini is really trying to do here. Hopefully they're able to do it. Just a note that Genesis Trading is going through the Chapter 11 process. It was supposed to be closed this coming month in May. That's what the restructuring deal said as of November, December. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm assuming that there's going to be some more Gemini Genesis news coming out of that. Hopefully it's all good stuff for all our retail friends out there trapped on Gemini. Zach, over to you.
Yeah, there's a big chunk of change locked up in that earn program, right? Something like, was it 900 million that was the source of this big, loud public beef between Cameron, Tyler, and Barry, right? This erupted in the wake of the FTX implosion and was pretty ugly, right? So I guess the things, that things are moving somewhat steadily and seemingly in an orderly fashion, I guess, is good for a lot of people who are caught up in this mess. But yeah, it is certainly interesting to see this news come out of Bloomberg, according to these sources, that this is something that, you know, the founders of this platform are undertaking here at this point in time, right? And maybe, again, maybe the rising tide of that big orange coin will help this look like a good deal in the end for the Winklevoss brothers. But then again, maybe it's not going to be enough to stop the bleeding. And I think that's what people are speculating when they see scoops like this out in the business press today. So yeah, it's interesting to see what Gemini is going to do and how they're going to come back from this one. They've been very public, I think, in laying out their game plan, both in their disputes with Genesis and others. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they ultimately say. They declined to comment to CoinDesk. It appears as though they declined to comment to Bloomberg as well. So it should be interesting to see if we get any additional clarity from the team directly outside of these sources.
A quick thing, aren't we supposed to be more transparent with the crypto exchanges now? Like, aren't we supposed to show proof of reserves and do all of these things? Like, I would like to know like an exact breakdown of where that money is going. And I get that traditional finance, like banks, hedge funds, all those people, they don't do it. But I feel like crypto, we have an opportunity to create this better ecosystem. And if I was them, I probably would have said exactly what the money's going to. But I'm just a poor pleb, so.
Well, they didn't say anything, right? I mean, this is all sauces. This is people talking who aren't really authorized to talk. So
sauces.
this is reporters doing their thing. So it should be interesting to see if any additional information comes out. It does appear as though the Bloomberg piece was updated to include an additional nugget about the 100 million going toward operations rather than toward this settlement that they had reached with Genesis. So an interesting little back and forth.
Facebook or LinkedIn or Amazon, whatever, they have absolutely no more sort of tech sovereignty in their own countries and nations. So when you see governments saying we want to have a Web3 strategy, it isn't just because they look at the entrepreneurial activity. It's that they want to unshackle themselves from the dependency of US technology.
If we have to go to court to get that clarity, it's unfortunate. It does reflect in many ways a failure of our legislative and regulatory process, but Coinbase is prepared to put the resources and time and energy into that.
Great businesses are built over 4, 5, 10, 20 years, not 6 or 8 months. And so to judge a technology or a founding team based on 3, 6, 8 months a year, I think is premature.
That's the ask that I would have of you. Help us make the use case for digital assets. Furthermore, you're innovating so fast that policymakers can't keep up.
Right.
And we need to know what effects our legislative framework will have on your ability to continue to innovate here in the United States.
The Fed is very data-driven. They're saying we're not going to lower rates by the end of the year. The market's fighting the Fed. The market thinks rates are going to drop 50 basis points by the end of 2023. Right. I do not think that's the case. Right. I think you'll see rates raised and then stay at that level for a while.
How can we make sure that the dollar in the age of the internet is safer and more competitive?
Tokenized securities don't yet have a venue to launch on.
I think a lot of the bigger companies are betting on some AR glasses, right? Not VR headset, some augmented reality glasses, or some other type of wearable.
So much is happening under the watch of the regulators. Yeah. So, and I think it can be, as we say in the law, both over-inclusive and under-inclusive. Over-inclusive because there's casting this wide net, catching not only people who may be doing nefarious activity, and we don't want them in this space. We want them out like yesterday, right? But it's also catching up a lot of legitimate businesses that just want to know what the rules of engagement are, even if they're difficult, so at least they know what they're doing.
At first, I couldn't even give them away for free. A lot of the Bitcoin collectors were not interested on anything with Ethereum.
If you believe my friend Ray Kurzweil, who wrote the book The Singularity is Near, he predicted we're going to get AIs as smart as people by 2020.